Hi, this is Frank from Walking for Health and Fitness, and this is show number 16 of my weekly walking tips and inspiration. My goal is to do 52 weeks in a row, so 16 down, 36 to go. Now, in today's show, I'm going to focus on the 21 walking safety tips to keep you safe when you're on the road. This is my most important show to date, so stay tuned for that. There's some really eye-opening statistics coming up. So a quick rundown of the show before we get into it. We'll have our first inspirational quote, as always. Then the walking safety tips, okay? Safety on the road. Pedestrian deaths are up, so we need to be careful. I'll talk about my book, Fitness Walking and Bodyweight Exercises, okay? Weather's getting nice now. You can get out there, work out on the road. We'll have today's background image about doing something a little different when you're walking. Eating right, recipes by Stacey. We'll have the Blinkist spotlight, something that they do at Blinkist, which is pretty interesting. Our second walking tip is about keeping a fitness journal. And then our second inspirational quote, dealing with that, keeping a record of what you want to accomplish. So, on with the show. In our first inspirational quote, you don't need to know the whole alphabet of safety. The ABC of it will save you if you follow it. And that is ABC, always be careful. And that's from the Colorado School of Mines magazine. Okay, always be careful when we're walking out on the road. Walking tip number 1, 21 walking safety tips. So here was a recent headline in the Miami Herald. Walking is hazardous to your health in Florida, the deadliest state for pedestrians. Okay. Now, this scary headline made me realize I needed to do a walking safety segment and put it on the show. I'll probably make a separate video about this also because it's that important. Now, between 2010 and 2019, drivers hit and killed 53,435 pedestrians. That's nearly 17 people a day on average. The number of people killed while walking has been on a steady rise each year, growing by about 45% over the most recent decade, for which data is available for analysis. There were, get this, 6,590 pedestrian fatalities in 2019. Now, let me repeat that. 6,590 pedestrian fatalities in 2019. There's been a steady increase in that. I think more people are getting out walking. That's one of the reasons. But there are also other factors which I'll get into. So don't become a statistic, okay? So I want you to follow this show. Now, commit to following these 21 safety tips for walking, okay? Now, it's been well documented that drivers are distracted. They're distracted by the devices. They're distracted by the radio, the sound system. They're distracted by the kids in the car. And just the life in general, people zone out when they're driving, okay? So before you head on your next walk, put these 21 walking safety tips into practice, okay? Now, you may find yourself walking at night, and this is where a lot of the fatalities take place, okay? Nearly 80% of all pedestrian accidents happen at night. So it's important to take precaution when we talk about these tips and talk about it at night, okay? Walking tip number 1. Walk facing traffic, okay? It drives me crazy when I see people. I'm walking facing traffic and they're walking towards me with their back to traffic. I don't know how anybody walks that way. You want to see what's coming at you. Now, if you remember only one lesson, just one lesson from this video, let it be this. Always walk facing traffic. You want to see what's coming at you. Talked about distracted drivers, right? You want to see if they start swerving over a little bit. So you could just stop walking and step to the side of the road. It's that simple to save your life. So that's tip number 1. Walking tip number 2, be seen. Now, if you only remember 2 of these tips from this video, let this be the second one, right? First one, walk facing traffic. Number 2, be seen. If you walk at night, you must wear a reflective vest and carry a flashlight or a headlamp, some way that that drivers can see you. Also, you could point the flashlight down and see any potholes in the roadway or on the walking surface, the sidewalk, okay? As I said earlier, 70% of all pedestrian fatalities happen at night. It comes down to reaction time. Drivers can't see. If they can't see you, they can't react to you. Now think about how many times you've been in the car in the evening and you see someone walking wearing something very dark a non-reflective surface. You don't see them till you're right on top of them. So wear reflective vests, wear bright colors at night, carry a flashlight. So if you remember only two things, walk facing traffic. If you walk at night, wear a reflective vest, carry a flashlight. Safety tip number 3, crossing safely at intersections is your responsibility. Now, don't assume vehicles will stop. Yes, legally, when we're pedestrians and we're crossing the street, we have the right of way in the crosswalk. But cars don't stop. You know that, okay? The very size of the car negates any kind of rights you think you have when you're crossing the street. So, be safe, be seen, be smart. When crossing the street, make eye contact with the driver. Give them a wave. Make sure that they see and respond to you. I wish they would have put that into the law. When you're in a crosswalk, wave so that drivers know. How many times have you come to a crosswalk and you've, as a driver, have stopped and someone is standing at the side of the road and they just wave you on because they're waiting for someone, they're hanging out, they don't want to cross the street. Put that arm up. Just let the vehicles know that you're going to cross, all right? And watch for turning vehicles. If a driver cuts the corner, you might find yourself under the tires. So be careful with that. Number 4, walk single file on the road. If you're with someone walking side by side, it's great to talk, but it gives drivers that much less room to get around you. Walk single file to stay safe. Theme of this show, stay safe. Number 5, be boring. And what I mean by this is you should walk predictably, okay? Shouldn't suddenly swerve out into the road, like, step out there, or I don't know what you do when you're walking. And if you listen to tip number 18 that's coming up, you'll see you'll have a cautionary tale of what happened to me on the road, okay? Number 6, walk defensively. Don't ever challenge a vehicle or ever assume the driver knows when you have the right of way, okay? Number 7, always carry identification and important medical information. Number 8, don't walk alone at night if possible. Now, working full-time and getting home after the sun sets is common in the wintertime. If you must walk at night, please take the following precautions. Wear a reflective vest, as I talked about earlier, and carry a flashlight or a headlamp. These will save your life. Number 9, keep in contact. Now, when you're walking alone, let someone know where you are, where you'll be going to, and when you'll be returning, and then contact that person when you arrive back home, okay? Number 10, be alert. When walking near woods, near wooded areas or dense brush, doorways, courtyards, anything, you need to be aware of your surroundings and any possible threats, okay? Just stay safe on the road. And besides cars, there are other threats out there. Number 11, don't wear lots of jewelry or carry much cash. Number 12, beware of strangers. Okay, we learned this as kids. It's unfortunate that I have to even write about this, but yeah, in this day and age, and we don't want to draw any unwanted attention to ourselves by the criminal element, okay? Number 13, protective devices. Carry one. Now, I usually carry a small pepper spray. I clip it to my belt. It's for easy access in case a dog or human gets too close for comfort. Number 14, keep your earbud volume down. Now, listening to audiobooks, listening to music, it's great while you're walking. It's a great way to multitask, utilize your time. But keep the volume at a level where you can be aware of your surroundings. Number 15, avoid distracted walking, meaning put the phone down. Don't look at the screen. I mean, I'm guilty of this at times, but you get a little zoned out and you might miss that pothole. So you might not get run over by a car, but if you roll an ankle or fall down, that's not good either. 16, if you walk your dog, keep the leash short so the dog doesn't dart out unexpectedly into traffic or trip a passing runner or bicyclist. Number 17, beware of sun glare. Believe it or not, in late fall and early spring, during the early morning hours, the sun is low on the horizon, setting up a situation that on some roadways where drivers are facing east, and this happens to me when I commute to work, the sun glare is so great that I really can't see very far in front of my car. It just happens for a very short period of time, but that's all it takes for something bad to happen, okay? So keep that in mind as a driver, but keep it in mind as a walker that drivers might not see you at all. I had a case where the crossing guard with full reflective vest in where he was supposed to be, he was in the middle of the road. I could hardly see him till I was on top of him. In fact, I stopped to tell him that, to warn him I couldn't see you at all. So keep that in mind. Number 18, watch and listen for runners. Now, runners should also follow these rules, okay? They should run facing traffic. What that means is they'll be coming up behind you quietly, okay? And you might not hear them until they're right on top of you, that footfall. Now, this happened to me, and this is where I talked about no wild gestures or, movements. A woman came up behind me, and I didn't hear it till she got so close that I actually was startled, and I threw my hands up as a protective just reaction, and I nearly hit her in the face. So that would not have been good had I done that. Yes, she was wrong, but here I am on the road taking a swing at a woman. Not a good situation. So beware, and if you are a runner coming up on someone, just tell them, hey, coming up and passing you on your right, okay? Good. Number 19. Watch and listen for bicyclists. Now, remember, bicyclists have to follow the rules of the road just like cars. So they'll be coming at you, but they'll be coming at you quietly. Okay, so if your head is down, you might not hear them. They come by pretty quick. Again, give them room to get by you because they have to also have the cars over the shoulder. They're facing their own problems. Okay, so just be aware of that. Number 20, walking safety tip. Know your walking limits. Overexertion, heat illness, frostbite, dehydration, and other serious health issues could happen if you overdo it on your walk. Okay, so be aware, and that's why keep in contact. Leads to tip number 21, which is program 911 into your cell phone and the ICE in case of emergency contact. This way, God forbid, something happens, you can get help right away, and your contact will be notified right away. So, your next step when you're walking, keep these 21 walking safety tips in mind the next time you walk. Remember, it's your safety. Do not assume anything about what a driver or others are going to do. If you keep your wits about you when you're walking, everything will work out fine. And I want to talk about my book, Fitness Walking and Bodyweight Exercises. Now, are you ready to learn the secrets to feeling great, living longer, and having a positive mindset and saving money in the process? Now, in my book, Fitness Walking and Bodyweight Exercises, I show you how walking, yes, the simple act of walking for health and fitness, is the easiest way to get in shape and stay in shape. Bodyweight exercises allow you to control the workout. You control the amount of time you walk and work out. You control the exercises you do, and you control when and where you do it. Okay, it's great. You'll tap into your mindset at the same time. Now, you need to get in shape, and you want to feel good physically and mentally, but you don't know how to start a fitness walking program, exercise program. This book has you covered. Now, you may have joined a gym to get in shape only to be disillusioned by what happens at a gym, and that is you're working out in front of strangers at a time when you might not be feeling and looking your best, okay? The gym staff, they're always pushing you to sign up for expensive personal training sessions, and you're kind of intimidated by the whole process. Or worse, the workouts that you do at the gym are so above your current fitness level that you get hurt, you get turned off by the whole process, and you don't go back, okay? And then you've already signed up. It's the hassle to unsign up and to stop the membership. So, learn the benefits of walking, and more specifically, the benefits of using fitness walking and bodyweight exercises to supercharge your health and fitness while you walk. Now, you can walk and listen to the free audio book, which is included with the purchase of the program. It's the ultimate in multitasking. Now, do you know the core 4 exercises? How to take control of your fitness? Why setting goals is a must? What's your why? What's your why in doing all this? Okay. Do you know the benefits of bodyweight exercise training? Do you know how to develop a positive mindset? Do you know how exercise improves your brain power? And do you know why diets don't work, but my win-win diet strategy does, okay? You can find the answers and more in my book, Fitness Walking and Bodyweight Exercises. It's available on Amazon in both the digital form and the paperback, and it includes the bonus, the audiobook, as I said. There's a downloadable supplemental guide with more information, and you have access to an exclusive page on my website for the purchases of this book. Okay, so check it out. Thank you. And today's background image, and that is getting off the beaten path. Now, sometimes you just need to get off a trail or get off the road and blaze your own path. Now, this image was taken last fall. I was in the Ramapo Mountains, not far from my house, but You get off the trail and there's no trail there. I'm walking through brush and grass and rock up and down. It's actually pretty cool. It's a great view. So on your next walk, try something different. Get off the pathway, get off the roadway, blaze your own trail. Now, do you have an image you'd like to share? So do me a favor, send me the picture. I'll put it up either on the screen here in a smaller version, or I'll run it in my background and talk about it if you like. Contact me at frank@walkingforhealthandfitness.com. frank@walkingforhealthandfitness.com. Check out my website, walkingforhealthandfitness.com, while you're at it. Also, if you like what you hear on the show, please subscribe to the show and the channel. YouTube gets the videos out to more people with the more subscribers, the more comments. Okay, give me a comment below. Appreciate it. And, we'll grow this walking information program and website that I have. Thank you. And in the Blinkist Spotlight this week, we have the Happiness Lab. It's hosted by Dr. Laura Santos. And Blinkist puts together what are called their shortcasts. And it's a feature where, for instance, Dr. Santos covers various topics. Her spotlight is on happiness, and she takes the information from the various books that are featured on Blinkist. So it's a really great idea to pull all the ideas together into one series. Okay. Now this week I listened to D for Distraction, and Dr. Santos explained how our brains aren't nearly as good at noticing things as we think they are. Okay, I think I said that right. In this episode, I learned that my happiness is shaped by what I pay attention to and how to reclaim my focus. Okay, especially reclaiming my focus and pulling it away from my phone and using that time to make social contacts or social connections. Now, social connections are a key part to our well-being. I'm sure you all experienced this during the lockdowns. I missed working with people. I truly did. And remotely just wasn't the same, of course. Now, unfortunately, the use of phones is causing us to miss social cues as we are distracted by the devices. Okay, we're missing the facial expressions, especially now with the masking going on too. So double whammy there. So you can find out more about the Happiness Lab at Blinkist.com. Blinkist takes the key ideas of many of the best-selling and current non-fiction books and reduces them to what they call blinks. Each blink is between 15 and 20 minutes long, so they condense the best ideas. The narration is always, the people narrating it always sound great. It's a really good sounding product. Okay, so I'll listen to a blink and then I'll spend time reflecting on what I learned for it. I'll pull out my notes app. There I go, right? Talk about social interaction. But I'll write down the key points and the ideas that I have while I'm walking. Okay, so if you want to check out this series and any of the thousands of books on Blinkist, okay, in the link below, there's a link to the 7-day free trial plus a 20% discount if you choose to stay on with Blinkist. Walking for Health and Fitness and me, Frank Ring, receive a commission from Blinkist for this, but it's a product that I use and I think it's well worth it. Okay, thank you. And the Eating Right recipes by Stacey. That's pancakes_Stacey on Instagram. You can find Stacey and great recipes, and the pictures are awesome that she posts. So this is a pea and pancetta frittata with shallots and ricotta cheese. Stacey says, eggs for dinner can be a hard sell sometimes, but this frittata is hearty, cheesy, and loaded with veggies. The original one-pan meal, actually. Okay, it's the original one-pan meal. One-pan meal, actually. I got it. All right. So the complete recipe from Stacey is in the show notes, which you can download. The show notes also has listing of all the 21 walking safety tips for you right there. You can print that out, keep it someplace, or save it to your computer, device, phone, whatever. Okay, so check that out. Walking tip number 2, keeping a fitness journal. Now, keeping a fitness journal or a workout journal allows you to see your progression each week. And that's good news if you're kind of feeling stuck and maybe you're looking to quit on whatever you're doing, whether it's walking or any fitness activity. Okay, when you look at this journal, you can see the progress you made. Now, remember the lessons of Aesop's fable, the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, whether it's your step count, the number of miles, or the number of times you walk, whatever it is that you want to track, when you write it down, it becomes more real and allows you to see how far you've come. Okay, Writing down your accomplishments and any breakthrough ideas that you hit upon when you're walking also keeps you motivated to keep this journal going. Now, in saying this, don't worry if you're not always improving, okay? We're not machines, and everyone will have quieter weeks than others, okay? A week where you take it easy. In fact, you'll find that if you increase your mileage too quickly, you might start to feel sluggish, a little overuse with your legs by putting in more miles, more times on your feet. And then you'll recognize that, hey, it's a time for rest and recovery. And over time, you'll see a pattern that as you ramp up your miles, you do need more rest time. Okay, so rest is a good thing. Now, I use the journal, and here's some of the picture of it, to complete my virtual walk around the United States. Now, I chunked it down state by state. When I planned this whole thing out, that's how I broke it down, state by state, and I ultimately finished it. Now, my walk around the perimeter of the United States started as a run when I was a runner, and it was a way to goof on my students. Basically, I kept track of how far I walked, right, every week, and then I plotted it on a map. This is going back before I even realized there was a Google Earth. I don't even think Google Earth was around when I started this, okay? So my walk around the perimeter of the United States started as a run and as a way to goof on my students. Now, I switched to walking about 5 years ago, and I kept a daily track of my walking, and I completed this huge goal. Now, I posted maps in my classroom. There's some shot of it right there. It took 16 years to complete this. Okay, I started on January 1st of 2004, and I completed it. I completed the 11,285 miles on June 24th of 2020. Now, as this was a virtual endeavor, I found images of the different states and the attractions along the way, kind of tried to find it along the routes, and I photoshopped myself into the pictures as a way to goof on my students. And I have this whole big ruse with them that I was actually doing this, and I would go there on the weekends and run on the weekends and then walk later on the weekends to finish this. But I went all around, and I found the roads all around the United States to do this. My plan was to actually walk the last 3.5 miles from the George Washington Bridge, which really is a part of Route 1 that runs into Palisades Park where I teach. I was going to walk the 3.5 miles from the bridge to the high school, but due to the COVID restrictions at the time, my plan fell through as far as doing that walk. And quite honestly, at that time, it was back in June 2020, I just wasn't in the mood to even do anything to celebrate this accomplishment, just what was going on in the country with that situation. But it was a cool accomplishment, and you can read about it on my website. I'll put a link below. And I'll have more about virtual walks in upcoming shows. Now, to complete this huge undertaking, and it was huge, I chunked it down state by state, and I ultimately finished in 16 years, okay? Took a 2-year hiatus when my son was very young, and quite honestly, I just didn't make the time to work out, and you have to make the time to work out. That's so important, okay? Put it into your day, and you have to do that. And there was a 2-year period where I didn't, and put some weight on, knees felt a little sluggish, wasn't good. So that's got me back into it. So by keeping a fitness journal, we'll bring it back to that, you will see patterns that begin to emerge. Now, it was only after I hurt my back from running and weightlifting and doing other stupid things, did I study my logs, the training logs, and see the number of times I was actually injured when I was a runner. It was often. And I discovered that the injuries usually happened when I ramped up my miles, and I was an increase in the intensity of my workouts. My body just broke down. And I didn't recognize that until it ultimately broke down badly for the last time as a runner. So if you're a regular viewer of the show, you know that since I've begun walking, I've been hurt twice. Once I stubbed my toe getting out of bed, so that doesn't count. And one time I stepped into a pile of leaves and branches after a storm. I should have walked around it. I rolled my ankle and I was out a few days. Okay, stupid. But the walking activity itself, no injuries. That's what's so great about walking and fitness walking. So set up your fitness journal and see where it takes you. Remember, motivation will have its peaks and valleys, and it's important to also be kind to yourself and reward yourself for your accomplishments, okay? Realizing this will help your motivation in the long run, or in our case, the long walk, okay? Why can't I throw that in there? So if you're looking for some more motivation and people to connect with, okay, the group on Facebook, Walk 1,000 Miles USA, um, is a group of like-minded people with looking to walk 1,000 miles in a 12-month period, okay? I post a lot of stuff on there, walking tips and the like. If you're just starting out as a walker, you might want to check out the Facebook group, Your First Walking Group. That's a group that I run. Look for Frank Ring. I also have a group called Walking for Health and Fitness Program, okay? Program is me. You'll see my videos and stuff on there. And that's also on Facebook, so check that out. And I have you covered with my 3 books. So I talked about fitness walking and body weight exercises, okay? Taking care of the physical fitness. I have my book, Walking for Health and Fitness, which gives you a really great overview of walking and how beneficial it is to you. And then my book, Walking Inspiration, really dealing with the mindset. Each month has a monthly topic. Okay, write 2 or 3 pages on that. And then there's a quote a day for that month that supports the main topic. So check that out. It's a cool idea and available on Amazon. And inspirational quote number 2. Measure your progress towards achieving your goals. And that's by Jerry Bruckner. Again, right, measurements, talking about the journal. Early in the tip, I use this quote. Now, if anyone could tell me how to contact Jerry Bruckner, please put a link in the, put a comment below. I wanted to reach out to him to tell him I was using his quote, and his website, doesn't seem like the contact information went through. So if anybody knows Jerry has a lot of quotes on, I found online, tell him I talked about him. Okay. And if you have a quote that you'd like to share, a walking or health question that you'd like answered, email me at frank@walkingforhealthandfitness.com. And we'll end the show with your next step. Basically, download the show notes. The 21 walking safety tips are on there. Study them, practice them, stay safe, okay? As always, again, in the show notes, the image quotes are on there also. So download that, be great. So this is Frank for Walking for Health and Fitness. Thanks for watching my show. Walk on.